My name is Grace. I am 19 years old. I live in a small city near the sea. It is a busy place with many people, shops, and noise. I live in a small apartment with one person. His name is Paul. He is not my real father, but I call him Dad. He took care of me since I was 2 years old. He is the only family I have. Paul is not like other people. Some people say he is slow. Some say he does not speak like a grown man. But he has a kind heart. He always smiles. He sings when he washes dishes. He makes tea for me in the morning. He tells me, "Grace, you are my sunshine." I always smile when I hear that. He cannot read books. He never went to school, but he walks me to the bus stop every day. He waits for me after work. He brings me my favorite juice when I feel sad. Some people laugh at him. They say, "Is that your father?" He looks strange, but I don't care. He is my world. He works at a small shop in the town. He helps the owner clean and pack boxes. The pay is small, but he is happy to work. One day, my life changed. It was a Friday. The sun was hot. I went to the bakery after work. I wanted to buy bread for dinner. As I walked home, I saw something strange. A police car stopped near the corner shop. I saw 2 officers go inside. Then I saw them come out with Paul. His hands were behind his back. He looked scared. He looked around like a lost child. Then he saw me. "Grace!" he shouted. "I didn't do it." I ran toward him. "What's happening?" I asked the police. One man said, "He stole money from the cash box." "No," I said. "That can't be true." My father would never steal anything. They pushed him into the car. Paul cried, "Grace, I don't know why this is happening." I stood there, frozen. My hands were cold. My heart was fast. People on the street looked at me. Some whispered. Some pointed. I wanted to scream. That night, I sat on the floor. I did not eat dinner. The bread was still in the bag. I stared at Paul's shoes near the door. His teacup was still on the table. His jacket was on the chair. But he was gone. I held his old sweater. It smelled like soap. I remembered the songs he sang while washing the floor. I remembered how he laughed at old cartoons. I remembered how he cried when I hurt my knee as a child. I went to the police station early the next morning. My eyes were red. My voice was dry. I said, "Can I see my father?" The man behind the desk said, "You are too young. Go home." "He is not a thief," I said. "He did nothing wrong." The man looked at me. He looked tired. He said, "There was money missing. He was the only one in the shop. That's all we know." I sat outside the station for hours. I didn't care about the time. I didn't care about food. I just wanted to see him. Later, an older man came out of the side door. He wore a gray coat. He had keys on his belt. He looked at me kindly. "Are you waiting for someone?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "My father. His name is Paul. They took him yesterday." The man sighed. "I'm just the cleaner here, but I saw him. He was crying last night. He kept saying your name." Tears filled my eyes. "He is scared," I said. "He does not understand what is happening." The man gave me a small sandwich from his lunch bag. "Here, you need to eat." "Thank you," I said. I ate slowly. Every bite felt heavy. When I walked home that evening, I felt tired. Not just in my body. My heart was heavy. The sky was gray. My street was quiet. But when I reached our door, I stopped. There were red letters on the wall. Someone had painted them. It said, "Thief's House." I froze. My legs felt weak. I touched the wall. My fingers shook. Why are people so cruel? They don't know him. They don't know his heart. I ran inside and closed the door. I sat on the floor and cried. I wanted to scream, but no sound came. Just tears. Then I remembered Paul's voice. "Grace," he used to say, "when you feel sad, just sing a little song. It helps." I did not sing, but I whispered, "I will help you, Dad. I will not let you stay in that place. You don't belong there." The next morning, I went to the library. I found books about justice. I could not understand every word, but I tried. I took notes. I copied sentences. One line stayed in my mind. An innocent man should not sit in prison. I wrote it down and showed it to my teacher. Her name was Miss Helen. She looked at the words. Then she looked at me. "Why did you write this?" she asked. I took a deep breath. "It's about my father," I said. "They say he stole money, but he didn't." Miss Helen sat down. "I remember him. He came to your school play last year. He cried when you read your poem." I smiled. "Yes, that was him." She looked serious. "Grace, would you like me to talk to someone? I have a friend who is a lawyer." My heart jumped. "Yes, please. I don't have anyone else." She touched my hand gently. "Let's see what we can do." That night, I looked out the window. The stars were bright. I held Paul's sweater close. "I will help you, Dad," I whispered. "I don't care how hard it is." Before I share the rest of my story, I need to know, where are you listening from? Knowing someone hears me, understands me, gives me strength. The next day, Miss Helen came to my house after school. She brought a small folder in her hand. She sat with me at the table. Her voice was soft. "My friend is a young lawyer," she said. "Her name is Lisa. She read about your father. She wants to help." My heart felt full. "Can I meet her?" "Yes," Miss Helen said. "She will come tomorrow, after school." That night, I cleaned the house. I made tea. I looked at the photo of me and Paul on the wall. I smiled. He was holding a birthday cake. I was only 10. That was the happiest day of my life. The next afternoon, Lisa came. She looked young and smart. She wore a brown coat and carried a notebook. She shook my hand. "Hello, Grace. Miss Helen told me everything. I want to help your father." "Thank you," I said. "I don't know what to do. I'm scared." Lisa gave me a kind smile. "You are strong. I can see that. You already started the fight for him. That is brave." She asked me many questions. "Where was your father when the money was taken? What time did it happen? Who else was there?" I answered as best as I could. Then she said something important. "We need to find the truth. We need to find someone who saw what happened." I looked down. "Nobody will help. People already think he is guilty." "Not everyone," Lisa said. "We just have to look harder." She gave me a list. "We will go to the shop. We will speak to the owner. We will check if there is a camera. Maybe someone saw something." I nodded. "Yes, I will do anything." That night, I could not sleep. I kept thinking about Paul. Was he cold? Was he scared? Was he crying? I closed my eyes and saw his face behind the glass. The next morning, Lisa took me to the shop. It was closed, but the owner was inside. He looked tired and angry. His name was Mr. Raymond. "You again?" he said. "Why are you here?" Lisa spoke calmly. "We are here for Paul. Grace believes he is not guilty." We want to see the security video from that day. Mr. Raymond crossed his arms. The camera was broken. No video. Lisa looked at him. When did it break? He paused. Last week. 2 days before the money went missing. Lisa wrote that down. Did anyone else have keys to the cash box? He looked away. Only me. And Paul. But he is not smart enough to trick anyone. I stepped forward. He is kind. He is honest. You know that. You worked with him for 2 years. The man said nothing. He picked up a box and walked away. Lisa whispered, "He is hiding something." We stood outside the shop. The street was quiet. Lisa looked at her notebook. Next step. We talked to people who were there. Maybe a neighbor, a customer, anyone. That afternoon, we knocked on many doors. Some people closed their doors. Some said, "Sorry, I saw nothing." But one woman said, "Wait." I saw something strange that day. My heart beat fast. What did you see? She said, I was near the shop. I saw a man come out fast. He wore a black jacket. He looked around and walked away quickly. Did you see Paul? Lisa asked. Yes, the woman said. He came out a minute later. He looked confused. He kept looking at the cash box in his hands. Lisa gave her a paper and pen. Can you write a short note? Just what you saw? The woman nodded. Yes, I can do that. I thanked her. You have no idea how much this means. We went back to Lisa's office. She looked at the note again and again. Paul came out second, she said. Someone else was in there first. Maybe that person took the money. Paul just found the box. I closed my eyes. Yes, that makes sense. He would never take it. He was just scared. Lisa called the police station. She asked for a short visit. She said, I need to speak to Paul with Grace. Please, just 5 minutes. The next day we went to see him. My hands were shaking. I felt cold inside. We sat in a small room. Paul was brought in. He wore gray clothes. His hair was messy. His face looked tired. But when he saw me, he smiled. Grace, he said, you came. I ran to the table. I wanted to hug him, but we were not allowed. I miss you, Dad. I miss you too, sweet girl, he said. Lisa spoke kindly. Paul, can you tell us what happened that day? He looked down. I was cleaning the back room. I heard a noise. When I came out, the cash box was open. Some money was missing. Did you see anyone? Lisa asked. He nodded slowly. A man. I don't know his name. He came to the shop once or twice. He wore a black jacket. Did he say anything? He said, the boss is not here. Okay. And then he left. I thought maybe he was a friend of the owner, but then I saw the box. Lisa took notes. She looked at me. This matches what the neighbor said. Paul looked at her. Do you believe me? Yes, she said. We believe you. We will help you. Tears ran down my face. Paul smiled, but his eyes were still full of pain. The guard called time. We had to leave. Stay strong, I said. We are not giving up. Paul gave me a small wave. Thank you, Grace. You are my sunshine. As we walked out, Lisa said, we now have a witness. We have Paul's story. We just need to find the man in the black jacket. I nodded. How do we find him? I have an idea, she said. The next few days passed slowly. Every morning I woke up and looked at Paul's empty chair. His shoes were still by the door. His favorite blue cup sat untouched on the kitchen shelf. I missed his quiet singing, his laugh, his gentle voice calling me sunshine. The apartment felt too big and too quiet without him. At night, I could not sleep. I would sit by the window with his old sweater in my hands, whispering to myself, "I'm still trying, Dad. I won't stop." Lisa called me on Thursday afternoon. Her voice was full of energy. "Grace," she said, "I think I found something. Do you remember the man your father talked about, the one in the black jacket?" I nodded, even though she could not see me. "Yes," I said. "He saw that man leave before he found the cash box open." Lisa continued. "I looked at the records. A man named Rick had visited the shop 2 times before. He used to work in a shop across the street. I went there today. The owner said Rick was fired last month. He was always asking for money. Sometimes he took things without paying. And guess what? He also wears a black jacket." I felt a light in my chest. "Do you think he did it?" I asked. Lisa said, "I do. But we need proof." The next day, Lisa spoke to a police officer she trusted. His name was Officer Hill. He agreed to help. He said they could not arrest Rick without evidence, but he would visit him and ask questions. That afternoon, Officer Hill went to Rick's apartment. Rick was not happy. He said he had never even been inside the shop. But when the officer looked around the room, he found something strange. There was a red envelope on Rick's desk. Inside was cash, and on the back of the envelope were the shop's initials, R.S., for Raymond's store. Officer Hill asked him, "Where did you get this?" Rick said he found it on the ground, but he could not say where or when. The story didn't make sense. Officer Hill took a photo of the envelope and showed it to Lisa. She showed it to Mr. Raymond, the shop owner. He turned pale. "That's mine," he said. "That's how I mark all the cash drops." Lisa smiled. "Then we may be close to the truth." On Saturday morning, I met Lisa at her office again. She told me that Officer Hill had written a full report. He also gave a copy to the court. The judge agreed to reopen Paul's case. We had to go to court again next week. I felt nervous, but I was ready. I wanted to stand by my father and tell the world that he was not a bad man. He was kind, gentle, and honest. He did not deserve to sit in jail. On the day of the court hearing, I wore my nicest dress. I brushed my hair and packed Paul's favorite sweater in my bag. I told myself, "Stay strong. This is the day everything can change." Lisa and I entered the courthouse together. It was a big room with many chairs and a tall wooden table where the judge would sit. Paul sat with a lawyer on one side. He looked small in his gray clothes. But when he saw me, he smiled, and that gave me hope. The judge came in and everyone stood. Then the room became quiet. Lisa stood up and spoke first. She told the judge that Paul did not take the money. She said that another man, named Rick, had entered the shop before Paul found the open box. She gave the note from the neighbor to the judge. She showed the photo of the red envelope. She told the judge that the money inside was marked with the shop's initials. The judge listened carefully. Then he asked, "Did this man, Rick, confess to anything?" Officer Hill stood up. "No, Your Honor." But his story changed many times, and he had no clear reason for having the envelope. Lisa then said something I will never forget. "Paul may not speak like other men. He may walk slowly or laugh loudly, but that does not mean he is a thief. Being different does not mean being guilty." I looked at my father. His hands were shaking. His eyes were full of water. The judge read the notes again. Then he looked at Paul. "Do you want to speak?" he asked. Paul stood up slowly. His voice was quiet. I did not take the money. I just wanted to work. I liked helping Mr. Raymond. I didn't want to hurt anyone. When I saw the open box, I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I only thought about Grace. I didn't want her to see me in trouble. Then he sat down. The room was silent. The judge looked around. Then he said, "Paul, you are free to go." I could not breathe. I felt like time had stopped. Then I stood up. I ran across the room. I ran into my father's arms. He held me tight, and we both cried. "I told you I didn't do it," he whispered. "I know, Dad," I said. "I believed you from the start." Lisa smiled at us from the side. Officer Hill gave a small nod. Some people in the room clapped. Others wiped their eyes. Mr. Raymond looked down and said nothing. We walked out of the courthouse together. The sun was bright. The air felt clean. For the first time in weeks, I felt light. I felt safe. We went home. Paul opened the door slowly. He looked around the room. He saw his blue cup, his jacket, his old shoes. He smiled. "Home," he said. I nodded. "Yes, Dad. You're home." I made tea and we sat by the window. He looked at the birds and hummed a small tune. I leaned on his shoulder. I had missed that sound. I had missed his warmth. That night, I looked at the stars again. I held his hand and said, "You're not a thief, Dad. You never were. You're my father, my friend, my hero." Some days later, Miss Helen came to visit us. She brought flowers and cookies. She hugged Paul and said, "You have a very brave daughter." Paul smiled and looked at me. "She is my sunshine," he said. Then he looked at Miss Helen. "Thank you for helping us." Lisa also came. She brought a small notebook for me. "You can use this," she said, "to write your own story. I think one day you'll help others too." I thanked her with all my heart. Without her, my father might still be in that cold room behind the glass wall. Weeks passed, and things became normal again. Paul found a small new job helping an older man clean boats near the water. He came home with wet shoes and a happy face. I started taking night classes to study law. I wanted to understand the world better. I wanted to help people who had no voice. One evening, I stood by the window again. Paul was singing in the kitchen. The smell of tea filled the air. I closed my eyes and smiled. This story is not just about a man who was called a thief. It is not just about me, a girl with no mother and no fancy things. It is about love, about truth, about standing up when you are alone. It is about believing in someone, even when the whole world says they are guilty. It is about never giving up. My father is not perfect. He forgets things. He talks too much during movies. He wears socks that don't match. But he is kind. He is honest. And he is mine. Thank you for listening to my story. If you have someone in your life who loves you like that, hold them close. Trust them. And when life gets hard, remember this. Truth may take time, but it always finds the light.